Guys, it's Allison Shipley here with Linda DeFranzo, who is the owner of Hair For You, which is a salon in Arlington Heights, Illinois. And as you can see around us, we're surrounded by some friends, right?
Lots of them.
Yeah, so Linda, you've sort of built this business around a clientele that benefits from wig services, whether they're going through chemotherapy treatments or any sort of medical treatment that causes them to lose their hair, or they're born with alopecia. And so we've been chatting about what this means to have this kind of service offered in this area. Can you tell me about your traditional client?
I would say my average client these days is in their 40s or 50s. Years ago it was about in the 80s, but it seems to have dropped a lot in age, and unfortunately we're dominated by a lot of medical issues that cause hair loss, whether it's chemotherapy, alopecia, or just medication in itself. So to give someone something that they don't have is one of the most amazing things that I can do. So what I do with the wigs is I cut them apart, size them to the head, and give them the style that they're used to seeing in the mirror, so that way when they're having good days or are just running an errand or what have you, they forget about what they're going through and they can go on with their day.
So what does that mean as a salon owner for you? What is the emotional side of it like? When you treat a client, you see the way that they can completely transform in front of the mirror.
As a salon owner, I don't know if it's as a salon owner, but as a person and a professional, it's the most amazing gift that I can give to anyone. So as a salon owner, it doesn't matter. I was a manager of a salon for 13 years, and people used to always ask me, "Are you the owner?" And I'd say, "No, it's the person in the corner over there." It just goes back to being able to do something that as a gift, and if you have the capability of giving someone this gift and being so passionate about it, you just want to give it your all, 100%. And I have wonderful staff and crew and people who rent here as well, who are all a part of this amazing gift that we can give people who are unfortunate for whatever reason they are that come in here.
Okay, so what is the process like? The client comes in here obviously because they need a service done. What is that process like? They come here with their head wrapped, with a hat on, and they sit in your chair. We're in the privacy room right now.
Correct.
So tell me about that process.
Well, it depends upon if they come here with still having hair or not. I prefer if they still come there in their natural hair state, so that way I can mimic their hair as much as possible. I work with a lot of different companies, and throughout the years I have picked out the ones that I feel are the best from experience. And I can take any wig and make it into that person's hair if I see their hair ahead of time. If I don't see their hair ahead of time, I ask for them to give pictures, whether it be a driver's license or just through a consultation. Usually I'm pretty good about getting a style that they like and finding what's right for them.
So once you've created the hair that they're going to go home with ultimately, what kind of advice do you give them to take care of it at home, and then how often do they need to see you?
Alright, as far as taking care of a wig, a synthetic wig is washed about every 3 weeks. You definitely want to use synthetic products because there's an anti-static in all the synthetic products, and it's the static electricity and the friction that breaks down the fibers of a wig. As far as the human hair goes, you want to use a high quality salon product. I do have my specialties that I like compared to other salon products, but I always tell my clients, make sure you use a salon quality product bought at a salon. It is imperative to taking care of a wig properly. As you know, with your own hair, it definitely makes a difference. When you put love into it, you're going to get love back. And it's the same as a wig. I put love into making a wig look the best for the client, and then they in return have to put love into taking care of it properly, so that way it looks just as good as the day they left to later on when they still have to wear it.
So when they shampoo it, you know, obviously it's not like it's on their head when they do that. So how do they do that? Was there tips on how they lather? What would you recommend?
As far as the synthetic wigs, we have a process that I suggest with using with shampooing it and stuff, I always soak it in baking soda first, because baking soda takes all the buildup off the wig. It's the key to washing a wig. You cannot get a wig clean, a synthetic wig clean, just by washing it with the wig shampoo. It doesn't take the buildup off of it. So after we soak it in baking soda, and there is a process through it, which I do have a sheet that I give all my clients. We service it here as well if they want us to do it, because some of our clients are still nervous about doing it themselves. So we do it as a service, and then we can check and see if there's any imperfections in the salon that need to be cared for as well while they're going through the process. But you can do it yourself. So you want to soak it in baking soda, wig shampoo, wig conditioner, and then also spray it with a leave-in conditioner. These are all wig products because there's an anti-static that is inside all the products that help keep it from breaking down. As far as the human hair goes, you want to wash it about every 3 weeks. Again, quality salon products. And you want to use a conditioner. So you have to put keratin into the hair. Hair is made out of protein and keratin, which we all know. So you have to put in what the elements take out, because you're not trimming the hair every 6 weeks. So as long as you take care of it with lots of conditioner, then you should be fine.
Okay, let's talk about cost. Client comes in, you know, they've obviously incurred medical expenses as well. So how do you walk them through what this is going to cost in terms of, you know, the consultation and then actually getting the wig and then maintenance and then, I mean, what can a client expect?
As far as the cost, I would say the average price of a synthetic wig here is around $350, give or take.
For the client.
And the average price for a human one is around $1,400, give or take. And when I say give or take, it all depends upon how it's made. There's a lot of different ways of how it's made. Almost all my wigs, 99% of them, are a monofilament top, which is a natural top, so it looks natural. You can get a machine-made one, less expensive, but to me it doesn't look natural. When you have a machine-made wig, they pre-tease it at the scalp to cover the wefts of the machine making this wig, so it makes it hot and thick and unnatural. I want it as natural as possible. So with the monofilament wigs, that's number one to looking natural. And
you can also color these wigs as well.
Well, you can color the human hair wigs. You can't make them lighter, you can only make them darker. And they don't color the same as human hair does, because they color them with textile dyes. So you can have 2 human hair wigs and put the same exact color. They start the same color, and you can put the same color on both the wigs, and it doesn't mean they're going to turn out the same, because the hair did not originate from the same head, or the same factory. There's a lot of factories in Beijing, and most of these wigs come from overseas.
Well, let me ask you one last question about advice that you would give to a salon owner looking to offer this as something for their salons. What advice would you give them about starting up? How did you get your start? Give us a couple tips on how they can best do this.
When I started in Florida, and my neighbor happened to be a hairdresser, and she wanted to open up a salon that sold wigs. And she didn't have the experience of cutting hair, which I had already experience in cutting hair, 17 years of cutting hair. So she needed someone to know how to cut hair. You have to know how to cut hair really well before you can jump into cutting a wig. That's number one. But you can't just be a good cutter. You have to know wigs. And the art of learning wigs took me about a whole year. You can't just put a wig on someone's head. The adjustment tabs don't size a wig. You have to learn the hows and the whys of how to size a wig. It's impossible to just learn on your own. You have to be taught. And again, it takes a good year to a year and a half of working with 10 to 12 wigs a day, like I did in Florida before I came here and opened up my salon, to understand wigs. It's impossible. And for anyone to think that they can just jump in and put a wig on, it won't work.
So who mentored you?
Her name is Karen Derry.
Okay.
And Karen is actually one of the educators for OnRight, and her husband specializes in men's hair pieces and hair extensions, and then she specializes in the wigs and the hair pieces. And I started her business with her from day one, and they are now educators and they don't just educate, They also create the wigs and help construct the wigs. So until you know all that about the wigs, it's impossible to learn.
Okay, so number one piece of advice is if you want to get involved in this, find somebody who can mentor you, who can show you how to actually deconstruct a wig so that it's perfect for your client. Because remember, they're in a super high emotional state when they do come in here, and they need you to guide them through the process. So thank you so much, and
You're
it's so
welcome.
fantastic what you're doing for this community. And you know, I know that you've been getting a lot of press locally, and so it's really cool to see it come in here and see what you do. And we can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.